Welcome back to another episode of Two Average Husbands. I'm your host, Jake.
And I'm your host, Kyle. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. Jake, what are you drinking this week?
I'm going to start off with Obscurity Brewing's Orange Pop Culture, which is a nostalgic pop-inspired ale. I'm hoping it tastes like orange soda. It's really all I got.
It sounds like it should, right?
I fucking hope so. If it doesn't, I know where these guys brew. It's like 2 towns over, so...
Well, since you're doing that, I'm going to start with this one, which is Bloom Untraditional Ciders Tangerosa. Which is made from tangerines and pears.
Sounds delicious.
It's from somewhere in California.
I've been on a cider kick recently, so that's the only reason I'm not also drinking ciders. I drank them all on Halloween.
I don't know where this is from.
That, along with about 12 Bud Light
Cali
Next.
Craft Brewing, wherever that is.
I had myself a nice little Halloween.
What the fuck, you bitch?
I think that's the first true flip over.
Oh, motherfucker. Well, that just sprayed everywhere. Stand by. Entertain the people.
Well, Kyle officially has the first spillover on the history of the podcast. Maybe not really, but first one that wasn't pouring into a glass that poured over a little bit. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in, for anybody who is here. We appreciate it, as always. We're going to hop into the topics here shortly once Kyle figures out how to open a can like a capable adult. I know it's hard, but some of these days it gets even harder. Just to get a few things out of the way, a few housekeeping things. Yes, I have a nice red mark on my forehead. That is from headbutting my desk on accident. And you may also notice a mustache on my face. It's Movember. This is all I can grow, but I'm going to do it anyway to support the cause. Kyle is also growing a mustache. By the next podcast, he's going to have a full-blown mustache. It's going to look glorious. And I'm still going to have basically this. And this is all you're going to get from me. And I hope you're okay with that. But that being said, this beer was orange. So off to a good start on the orange soda front. Kyle is still in the... Oh, we got a nice little slurp. Still in the process of cleaning, though. But yeah, Halloween was a good time. I hope everybody enjoyed their Halloween. Hope you guys, if you were trick-or-treating with your kids or anything like that, hope you had a good time. Hope you got to have some fun with your family. If you were like me, handing out candy and getting drunk. It was a great time. You should consider it. There was a guy walking around my neighborhood with a cooler full of Busch Light. Really was my spirit animal. Me and him were very much on the same vibe, so... But all in all, it was a good time. Got to give out a lot of candy. Still have way too much left over. My diet is in shambles because of that. But it is what it is. Kyle is still cleaning. We are making progress here, though. We got an elbow on screen for anybody who was listening after the fact. But yeah, Halloween was a good time. We have Thanksgiving and whatnot coming up right around the corner here. Holiday season is fresh upon us. My allergies are going crazy, so also enjoying that. Kyle is really struggling to get his desk clean here. It is kind of funny. I think it's dry. Uncle Kyle, you had 4 trick-or-treaters. I had that right as trick-or-treating started, but my trick-or-treating also started at 3:30 in the afternoon and ended at 8 p.m., so.
Jesus Christ. What a mess. That couldn't have gone any worse. That literally went everywhere.
Yeah, it sounded...
It sprayed up and over. It went
nice.
All over my floor, my desk, everything. This beer is already a bad taste in my mouth.
Just off of that.
I don't know how the fuck that happens because it's been sitting in my fridge unshaken for literally ever. That's been in there for 3 weeks.
Oh, geez. You had a short window of trick-or-treaters there, Uncle Kyle. Ours was 3:30 to 8, so 4.5 hours.
I have no idea what ours was supposed to be, but we had more trick-or-treaters than we ever had in Tucson. It was maybe 20 total-ish here, and the most we ever had in Tucson was 2.
Oh, we had a lot. But we knew ahead of time that we would have a lot. We're in a pretty busy neighborhood. So that's so funny that exploded on you like that. It's the first one on the pod where the cans explode. We've had some overpours, but that is the first can open, things go wild type thing.
That was bullshit.
It's kind of funny for me, but I also don't have to deal with the repercussions of it like you do.
I mostly clean this up well enough that it should be a pretty easy, like, full cleanup afterwards. But, like, there's a little bit of beer on my mouse pad now, too, which is never going to be good. That's going to sit there for the rest of the time and stink.
This beer.
Is it good?
Yeah. It has.
I said that, and I was like, God damn it, what did I do? What did you
It has
see?
achieved exactly what it was shooting for. But I don't know who goes first this week. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. It's you.
Yep, kind of saw that coming. So, Kyle, the new Call of Duty has come out.
It has.
We get yet another yearly release of a game that probably doesn't need to be released yearly.
Yep.
The initial reaction to the game is, as always, some people love it, some people hate it.
Yep.
I know I love it.
Yep.
I know you are. I would say you like this more than you did the last few CODs that have come out at this stage, like a few days in.
Yeah, that's probably fair. There almost isn't a game that's come out in a long time that at release I didn't think was just like straight trash or, full of bugs or whatever, some sort of issue that I don't feel like fucking dealing with that makes me angry.
Right.
And for the most part, I think this is pretty bug-less, with the exception of there's some graphic issues that I am experiencing and some other people. Jake is not, so not sure exactly what's going on there. Might be a DLSS thing through NVIDIA. I don't know. We'll troubleshoot that and figure out what it is. But
I have DLSS on and I don't run into
it could be a
that.
function of the card, though, right? Like
it could
cards.
be
Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Because I think Jack was also one of our buddies. Jack was the other one who was having the same issue, and I think he also has a 3080 like you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's a card specific thing, but there aren't. There's no shortage of bugs with the game. There's no shortage of complaints with the game. But the number one complaint with the game is the user interface of the game being very not Call of Duty, the weapon progression system being very not traditional Call of Duty. And so what I want to ask you is, what is your thought on a game that has been coming out for 10 plus years? It's a very similar game year in and year out. The gameplay of everything is still very similar here, but how do you feel about the UI changes? Should games make such drastic UI changes and such drastic leveling up changes when they've been so successful and their interface was kind of considered like one of, I won't say the gold standard, but a very good interface for a long time?
Yes, I think they should. And I think that because if I'm going to pay for a release of a game, I want to experience something different. Like if you're going to just release the exact same user interface, but just in a different location of the world or a different, whatever, like what have you, like Call of Duty always does, which is, okay, we're going to do a brand new, like, Modern Warfare, Control-C, Control-V in World War II and just change the uniforms. You know what I mean? Like I would so much rather them change some aspect of the game to make it different. That being said, like, I don't know that this was necessarily the best or like the most optimized. I think there are some things that are undesirable about the way that they built this interface, but it's not bad. It's just different, right? And like you have to try different. They force you to try different things, right? Like as opposed to like, hey, I pick my 2 favorite guns or whatever and play through them forever. Like you don't. It's not like that. If you want to work with certain weapons, you have to use a different type of a gun or whatever to get you something else unlocked. So it's a different type of interface that I don't hate, especially since it's not inhibiting me at all. Like I can still play things that I want to and enjoy the game. So I don't hate it. I think some of the new game modes are fun. The main home screen interface I think is dog shit in its current state. And I know you've talked about how you thought it was made by the same people as Hulu, or you know that for sure. Or
yeah, the director of UI UX at Activision is the former director of UI UX at Hulu. So it's very similar, very blocky, same kind of thing. You have to scroll. Things are hard to find. I saw a TikTok today that was joking about it too. There's a guy who, I think he's a streamer, a content creator. I wish I had his username off the top of my head. But he was talking, he always does these skits where like he's the Activision CEO and a guy who works at Activision. And they were joking about how bad the user interface was. And the guy was he was joking as the CEO. He's like, that was an April Fool's joke that we made. That wasn't supposed to go into the game. He was like, I figured that. Have you ever tried to play with friends? You fucking can't.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty, user intensive to try to make things happen, and it shouldn't be. I think in general, like the concept or what they were trying to do is good. Like I think it was just really poorly executed. It's just
Yeah.
It is clunky and difficult and not very easy to navigate. The fucking settings are difficult to find. The filtering for game modes, if you want to play on multiplayer, is like the stupidest thing ever, because it's like, here's your filter. Here's how you edit your filter in a tiny little box at the bottom. So
here's your filtered playlist, but you can't click on anything in this box to filter anything.
Yeah. So it's there's goods and bads, right? Like in a redesign of a game. But that being said, I think the gameplay is good. For the most part, which like, you already mentioned, is pretty uncommon for me to say with any game that releases in the AAA titles.
I think people's biggest complaints of the actual gameplay have to do with the guns are slow to aim in, and the movement is, you have to play slower than you have in previous CODs. Maybe I'm just getting old, but also I don't think so, because in the more recent CODs where you had to slide cancel and you had to do all of these unique movement techniques, I learned them and I used them because that's what you had to do. But I think this COD actually rewards you knowing how to position, actually having gun skill, as opposed to just knowing a movement that glitches out your character model for the opponent's screen.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. I think a lot of people disagree with that. So do you hate the change of removing mechanics that have essentially been so key in Call of Duty for the past, call it 3 or 4 games, and going back to something that this game feels like I'm playing Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty 4, like when COD was fun. Like I'm back at COD being fun, which is something I can't say I've felt for the last few.
I think it's weird because you have to strike a balance, and the balance has to be between realistic and like fun to play, right?
Right.
So, realistic, like if you get shot in the head in a video game, you're dead instantly, right? Like that's realistic, right? But you don't want that necessarily for like every weapon type in every game, because then the play style is just like, it's like, what was that game mode called in Halo back in the day where it was one shot kill in the head?
Oh, not hardcore. That's what they called it in COD.
No. But anyway, that was fun, but you don't want a whole game built that way, right? Like
right.
You want to have the option to, especially for players that are like learning how to play a game, you don't want them to get frustrated immediately. You can't have that, because then people don't play the game, right? You have to have some playable sense. So anyway, to make a long story short, there has to be some sort of a balance between realistic and playable. And I think the slide cancel, to be specific about a movement, is so fucking stupid that like I'm totally fine with that going away. Did I get used to using it, and now do I like catch myself all the time still trying to? Yeah, I did, and I do. But now I'm like, this is realistic. Like if I go into a slide down a hill, it's going to be tough for me to just stand right up immediately into a shooting position, right? Like that's not realistic. So, sliding 15 feet isn't realistic either. But
when you slide, you have to. What I like about it is once you make a decision, you have to commit to the decision. Like in
yes,
when you could slide cancel, you could slide and then halfway decide through, nope, I actually want to jump over this cover. I don't want to slide into it. So you have to actually commit to what you're doing a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I think for me, it brings back a sense of like having to have a brain. Like I feel like, and there's also more recoil in this game than there's been in recent CODs. Like you're back to actually having to know things to be good at the game, as opposed to just being able to sprint around and just spam shots and spam slide cancels and spam movement. I think
go ahead.
I just think I think people will learn to love that. I think as this game progresses and as this game grows, especially with Warzone 2 coming out in 15 days, I think 14, 15 days. I think people will really learn to enjoy it, and they'll realize that there's a lot more fun to the game than just having to be hopped up on Adderall and sprinting around the map to be competitive.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily agree with you that it's more like slow paced. I don't think that is true. I think it is strategic, but I don't think you had to play style change so much in your own personal play style to adapt to this Call of Duty. I think it's just you need to place yourself differently, but you could still move quickly.
You can move quickly, but like in the last few CODs, like you could literally like slide cancel, sprint, jump around a wall, zoom right in with your gun and be beaming somebody. Whereas in this COD, because the guns move like they zoom in slower, you can't, like if you almost have to pre-aim when you come around the corner. If your cursor, especially since we play mouse and keyboard, like if our cursor is off aim when we come around a corner and there's a guy pre-aiming that, we're dead.
Yeah.
Like there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't overcome it like you could in the other CODs where you could like be halfway through the air and then go prone, which would break your character model, and then instantly stand back up and just beam the guy. Like you have to understand if you're making a play where you're gonna sprint around a corner, it's a calculated risk that you're probably gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. But I kind of like it.
And I'm going to say all of this and then caveat it with, I don't think skill-based matchmaking should be a thing in public matches.
I don't know. It's tough, and it's especially tough when you're in a group, right? Like for our like a tier of matchmaking, we were playing with friends the other day. Jake's probably the best with the highest tier-based matchmaking, and then it was probably like me, Dane, Jack, or something like that, right? Like either way, how do you average that out? And in Call of Duty, they don't. At least it seems like they don't. They just take the highest or the hosts, one of the two.
It felt like the host because I was hosting and y'all were getting destroyed, and then we switched to Tyler's host, and it was like I was going
That's
5 times positive every single game. Like
yeah, and so it was. I don't love that. I don't love the. I wish they could take an average of the group.
I think if you're gonna do it, it should be averaged out.
But if it's individual, like if I just go matchmake by myself, I don't hate skill-based matchmaking because it does keep it competitive. You're not shitting on kids. It's not. I don't know. It is challenging and engaging. Sometimes you want to just go shit on people. Yes, Jake.
Yeah.
I know where you're going with this, and yes, I agree. But I don't think it's bad to be competitive.
Yeah,
That's how you're gonna get better.
that's true. Uncle Kyle, yes, you can use an actual controller on PC as long as it is wired. I think there are ways to use wireless controllers, but I know that wired controllers, like I have a wired Xbox 360 controller that I have used at times, depending on the game we've played, that I just plug in and I'm able to use that. But yes, you can use an actual controller on PC. Some people like it, some people hate it.
If your computer has Bluetooth, you can Bluetooth almost any Xbox, PlayStation controller. Because I use like PS4 controllers on my laptop all the time to play.
That makes sense.
So
I don't have a personal laptop right now. I'm waiting for Black Friday. Then I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, I might have to go wash my hands in the intermission because they're covered in sticky shit and starting to really drive me crazy. But anyway,
Hey,
yeah,
you're fine.
I like Call of Duty. Things are bad, things are good. I would say there's more good than bad though, from what I've seen in more recent releases.
I was gonna say I think we have the best COD so far for public matches of the last since before the last Modern Warfare 2019 came out.
I don't remember playing that. I feel like all I've done is play Warzone or like Battle Royale so much that I haven't played like multiplayer. So all of these games are just the same.
We played multiplayer, and you were like, "I'm going back to whatever other game we were playing at that time. That whether that was Apex or it might have been when we were playing a lot of Overwatch actually.
Yeah.
And so you were like, I can't fucking play this game. It sucks. I'm out.
Every time they add shipment back into a fucking game, I'm like, I quit.
I love it.
Can you please stop? Can you please, Call of Duty, hear me, Call of Duty in my pleas. Stop fucking putting that map into video games.
Uncle Kyle, you 100% should buy a PC.
Yeah.
And you should hop on some games with us sometime and on the podcast.
Buy Jake Means Build.
Yes. Well, I would say I would drive to Iowa to help you build it, but I don't know if I can commit to that at this time.
Building is worth it.
Yes,
the experience of building a PC makes it so much better and so much cooler, and it really isn't that much of a learning curve. Just watch some freaking videos on YouTube. You can realize how easy it is, buy the parts, and put it together, and it's going to cost you less money.
Just actually pay attention to the videos like Dane didn't.
True.
Do the opposite of what Dane
all
did.
of the materials he needed. He just chose not to watch.
We sent him a 45-minute step-by-step how to build a PC that happened to be using the exact motherboard, CPU, graphics card combo that he was building on, and he still fucked it up. But
that was pretty bad. It was hilarious though. But I think
it was a
we've
good
told
time.
that story before.
Yeah, but okay, that's all I wanted to talk about. It's just, something fresh on the mind. I was playing it earlier today. Probably going to play it as soon as we're done here.
Yeah,
so
it's good. I like it.
Nice.
I don't hate it.
All right. What's your topic, Kyle?
First of all, I'm not going to rate it yet, but I hate that this beer's pretty good because of how much I have a huge fucking mess to clean up because of these motherfuckers, but it's actually really good. And I hate that that's true. I just have to say that. I'm also demoing in a new glass because we went to a new brewery and tried one out. And so the Hillen brand Farmhouse Brewery, I got a collective glass or whatever, what do they call these?
Commemorative.
Commemorative. Thank you. There's the word. But Carly, actually, this was sitting on a different table, and they like charge like $10 for these or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And so we're like, we're not fucking buying those. That's dumb. And then two people like bought them, literally paid for these glasses, and left them on the table. So Carly was like, snatch. And so I got a glass.
Respect. I have earned enough points at my local bottle shop that I can get one of their branded glasses for free. And I spent another $90 there tonight. So
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it's reflecting that their reward system is so dog shit that you're getting like a $5 glass after spending probably like $600 there.
no, it's theirs is actually pretty decent. That's just one of the things that I'm qualified for. I'm qualified for a few different prizes or rewards, I should say, not prizes, but their prices are fair for a craft beer place.
Yeah.
But we got beers there tonight and bought some to bring home. So
I also don't know if you mentioned this while I was out trying to clean this mess up a little bit. But Jake and I are going to both grow mustaches for November.
I did
mention that. We're going to
that.
see how great it gets, because mine's going to be better.
yeah, I did bring that up. I was like, Kyle can grow facial hair. I can't. So
I can't grow facial hair. I can grow a mustache. That is it.
you can. If you didn't shave, you would have
The
a better
patchiest,
beard.
most disgusting beard on
You
the
would
planet.
have a better beard than I could dream of growing.
I hate it because I'm so jealous of my brothers, because they both have like these huge burly beards and I can't do it. But I can do a mustache.
I was talking about buying one of the there's like micro needlers, so they're like little rolling things with a bunch of needles, and you roll them on your face, and you put like Rogaine on it so you can grow facial hair.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it. I want to do it.
I don't know that I've seen those two things in tandem, but I have seen the wheelie things.
Uncle Kyle says he's bringing me some Iowa beers on Thanksgiving. I love to see it.
Iowa had like 0.000 breweries when I was there. And as I was getting ready to leave, they started getting more. Like my downtown got one maybe a year before I left in the hometown that I'm from. And then maybe, probably some of the bigger towns had some. But brewery, like, population of breweries blew the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
Across the states in general, but in Iowa for sure after I left. Which is sad because I didn't get to experience most of those. I'm sure they're probably pretty good. But anyway, Jake, what was the worst thing that you did as a kid that went unpunished?
Oh, there's so many. The first one that comes to mind, this is when like people are like, you like, I don't think you're a bad person. You need to like, what have you done that makes you a bad person? When I was very young and I didn't know any better, I would take tips off of the tables at restaurants when I walked by them.
Oh, Jake.
I didn't know what it was. I thought people were just stupid and were leaving money behind. And I was like, mine.
Oh, man.
I've since rectified my mistake by over tipping everywhere that I go for the rest of my life. But that's what
so bad.
I did that as a kid, and
I hate you for that.
when I was doing it when I was like 6, and then my parents caught me doing it, and they were like, "Hey, you know," and I was like, "Okay,
That hurts real bad, dude. I feel so bad for those servers.
I worked as a server. I feel bad for him. I feel horrible that I ever did that.
Think about if like it was a big table too. You took like a $10 tip.
I'm
just saying hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
Like
if I'm thinking back to it, I don't think I ever took more than like $5.
But think about like say you do this, right? The server doesn't notice that you do it. They just think they didn't get tipped, right? But they remember that customer.
Yeah.
And so the next time that person comes back, they're like, fuck you. You're getting the worst service on the fucking planet. Yep. And it's all because some fucking shithead kid stole their tip off the table. It's so bad. That sucks, dude.
That's honestly like any piece of karma I've ever gotten in life probably stems from that.
That's brutal.
Yeah,
that's a good one, but it's brutal.
It's brutal, but it's like I've worked as a server since. Like obviously I know it's not, but like as a kid, I just thought people were being stupid and leaving their money behind.
Yeah. Okay.
So not trying to justify it. Don't fucking do that. But
yeah, I think.
But I did. Uncle Kyle wrecked a car twice in one day to cover up the first.
I feel like you might just have to tell that story.
I was going to say.
At first, I read that sentence and I thought it said I wrecked a car twice in one day, and then I just stopped. But now that it's to cover up the first is like, there's a story to tell there, so that's going to be good, I'm sure. I think one of the worst ones that I did consistently that I never got punished for, and this isn't really even bad, I think it feels kind of innocent now compared to Jake stealing tips from fucking servers. But my mom, for whatever reason, decided that we can do a few of these because I have a few good stories, I guess, now that I'm starting to think about it. But I bought a car when I was 15 with my own money because I had a job when I was 14. And it was a terrible idea to let me do that because my parents were I lived with my mom, but my mom was like, you have your school permit, so you can't drive this thing anywhere else. I drove everywhere. I was driving way out of town, like 3-4 towns like over to see friends and shit like that. And so I am so fortunate that I didn't get caught because like, I don't know, probably no major implication, but I could have had some like pretty serious implications on my ability to get a driver's license. Cause I'm pretty sure if you were 15, got pulled over driving outside of like your school permit area, they would like make it so you couldn't get your driver's license for another year. Like you had to wait till 17.
You had to wait till you were 18.
Is that what it was in Illinois?
That's what it was in Illinois. I'm pretty positive.
I think in Iowa it was 17, but I could be wrong. Either way, it was like totally unpunished, stupid as shit, but I did it all the time. All the fucking time. I drove everywhere. Nothing crazy about it. It was just fucking stupid and I went unpunished.
Yeah. I think the obvious one is, and I don't condone this if you're listening to this episode, underage drinking. Never got in trouble for it. Definitely did it. Started drinking when I was like 14. Never.
Yeah.
I won't say never got caught, but never got in trouble.
Yeah.
What else?
I was a bartender before I was 21, man. So like,
yeah.
Yep.
I was making my parents' drinks when I was like 10. Like
I remember when I turned 21 and I went out for my birthday and people that I worked with were like, how old are you turning? And I was like, 21, man. And they're like, what the fuck, dude? We've been drinking for years. And I'm like,
yep.
No, we haven't. Yeah,
I had a buddy who did something like that. He went to a bar that he used to go to all the time in this town, a few towns over from where he grew up. And he showed them his ID and he was 21 and the bartender knew who he was. Yeah. He's like, I'll serve you tonight, but you're never coming back. He got banned from the bar.
Wow.
Because the bartender was like, fuck you.
Well, that's just being a fucking sassy
a little bit
baby about it.
But
it's your fault that you didn't fucking follow procedures, not his for using a fake ID. I mean, it is, but I'm going to pawn the fucking responsibility off.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? Was told not to go to Chicago at 16, went rear-ended my buddy who didn't have insurance, then swerved into a tree on the back roads that night. I mean, hey, do what you gotta do, I guess.
Jeez.
I'm trying to think. Have I really done anything else that was that bad?
I think the one that made me feel the worst, that I didn't get punished for, but I did eventually get caught, is my mom had a change jar, and she always was like, so my mom was like broke, right? Just broke. And she would save up change and save it for something that she wanted to buy, or she was going to buy us or whatever. She used the change usually for like an intent, like a particular purpose. And when I got older, I would take like $2, $3, $4 at a time out of there and go get car washes. Cause like the car wash took quarters and I didn't ever feel like going and getting change.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like paying her back. I was like, I probably took like $25 from my mom for car washes over the span of, however long. And I remember at one point she asked me, she's like, are you taking quarters out of there? And I was like, yes. And I think I just admitted it to her, but like I felt so fucking bad too. Because I can't remember if she told me then or if I found out later or whatever, but like what she was using that change for, and I felt like the worst fucking human on the planet.
Yeah, we had something like that. We had one of those like 5-gallon water jugs that we would always fill with change. And so when I wanted lunch from school or like we were going to McDonald's, which also shitty thing to do is paying coins. Did that a lot as a kid.
That was my next story was tipping with change. We did that.
I've done
lot
all of that. But yeah, I would empty the thing out and then we would leave everything in there, but my brothers and I would empty it out and we'd take the quarters.
Yeah.
Because it was what was worth the most. So it would still be full of change. Same kind of deal as yours probably. You couldn't tell that there weren't quarters in there anymore.
Yep. Just
but
shitloads of pennies, nickels, and dimes.
Yeah. There were not quarters in there because we used them. They went to buy lunches at school. They went to a lot of McDonald's drive-thrus. A lot of stuff.
We thought we were like fucking cute too when we were in high school, and we'd intentionally take shitloads of change with us, knowing that's how we were gonna tip, right? And we'd make smiley faces or like messages and change, and we thought it was fucking hilarious. And we're like, oh, the servers are gonna love this. And
now you're the asshole.
All those motherfuckers hated it. They were
100%.
pissed that they had to deal with the change. And then they also probably thought they were getting a shitty tip, which we didn't. We always made sure that we gave like a good amount in the tip, but it was all in change. And it was just like, fuck these kids. You know, like I would be so mad.
Yeah. This is one thing I probably should have gotten in trouble for, which also kind of rectifies my taking the tips earlier thing. My parents every once in a while would be nice and they'd be like, you can use our credit card, like when you go out to dinner with friends, like, or if we go out to dinner with our friend's family, like they didn't want the friend's family to have to pay for us. So they'd give us their credit card. So then I would order my food, whatever. I'd get a separate check. I'd say my check is like $13. I would tip $13, but on my parents' card. So like what should have been a very cheap dinner for me ended up being like a lot nicer than it probably like when my parents got the credit card bill. I never got in trouble for it, but I did it, and they know I did
never gave me a credit card ever.
It was rare. We would maybe like once a month, maybe.
I just had one, and now I've lost it. Completely lost it.
I got in trouble a lot as a kid, so like it's hard. Like I think of a lot of really great stories about stupid shit I did as a kid.
Yeah,
but like I got punished for it, so it doesn't.
I was just gonna say
it doesn't count for
the
this.
underage drinking. I technically did end up getting in trouble for because I was 2 or 3 months. I don't know. Carla's probably in the chat. She can tell me when it was. We were on spring break. I was 20 at the time, getting ready to turn 21, very close to turning 21, and I was sober and didn't have any booze with me, and I got a minor in possession charge in Florida. Because somebody, like one of my buddies, I could tell the whole story some other time if somebody wants me to, but to make a long story short, my buddy left his cooler like on the ground because he ran into a porta potty to take a piss when we were about to leave, and I was hungover as shit that day, so I had been underage drinking,
right?
But I was not that day because I was hungover. So we're getting ready to leave, and I just like was standing a little ways from this cooler, just kind of keeping an eye on it, right? And a cop walks up to me. He's like, "Is that your cooler?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "All right, you're under arrest." I was like, "All right, sick, bro." So like, I got an MIP. So I did eventually get punished for that.
I have a buddy. You're actually in a fantasy football league with him, Jake, the other Jake, who is in the old ESPN league, now on Sleeper League.
Oh yeah. Lipka?
He.
Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have divulged his full
podcast.
My bad, bro.
I don't think he cared.
My bad, bro.
Anyways, he got a drinking ticket at Country Thunder one year, in part because of me. We were at his campsite and we were playing cornhole, and we made a rule: anytime you made a cornhole, so anytime you make it in the hole, you had to take a shot of Fireball. Well, I killed a bottle of Fireball because I'm pretty good at the game.
I'd missed that fucking hole on purpose.
And then I was not, especially after I got drunk. I was like, "Why don't you do it again?" But yeah, and so I got way too drunk. They were walking us back to our campsite. He wasn't 21 at the time, or didn't have his ID. He might have been 21 and just didn't have his ID. But we were walking, and he had his cooler with him because he was helping Jess and our other friends get me back to the tent. And we got stopped, apparently, and he got a ticket because he was in possession. He's made his money back for me in fantasy football wins, though. So
right,
we're chilling.
He had to have been underage because even if you were without ID and of age, you could have proven that. Like you could have gone date of birth, name. Like they could have figured it out.
Yeah, but it's Country Thunder. They're just very ticket happy.
Dude, that might be one of the shadiest practices in all of American policing. Is like going to hot destinations for underage drinking and just writing tickets, whether they're justified or not, knowing that these people are either too young, too dumb, or fucking too lazy.
Yeah.
To fight the ticket.
Which also, we ended up finding out, Uncle Kyle also mentioned that he ran from the cops at 110, his mom's purple minivan. I remember that minivan. And that was one of 4 or 5 times he ran away from the cops and got away. Uncle Kyle, you're not messing around over here. But we found out later in the rental agreement of the campsites at Country Thunder, it technically states that you are then on privately rented property. And so if you were on a campsite, the cops cannot ticket you. And I know for a fact they were anyway.
I've been watching, okay, maybe I shouldn't admit this, but I've been watching a lot of like police audit videos on YouTube recently just because I've been bored and I've gone into this deep
I see them all the time on
TikTok
TikTok too.
I've been watching them a lot. And I think based on what I've seen in that's probably not a legal like note in your contract or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's not a legal clause in your contract, because it doesn't matter if I'm private property or not. As long as they have probable cause to get on that private property and ticket you, they can come on that property. And
probably.
it's like your house, right? Like if I'm beating my wife on my property, they can still come and arrest me for that. It doesn't matter if I'm on my property or not. Like the fact that this is private property doesn't matter.
Right, but
They just need the right.
if I'm
probable cause to
sitting
get
in
on
a
the
chair
property.
drinking, no matter how young I look in theory, that technically is not probable cause.
Yeah, I think there would have to be.
Technically.
That's actually a good one. And I haven't seen very much about that on the interwebs. There was one video I watched, but it's like how do you get probable cause to justify like just seeing somebody and saying that they look young?
Yeah.
And I have never looked into that. So that's different. I'm saying you disregard that and just I'm saying that if they had reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime, right, then they could come onto that private property and give you.
Your wife is yelling at you in the chat, and by yelling you, I mean she just typed Kyle in all.
I'm not saying I would ever do that. I'm assuming
But-
she's mad about that example. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she's just one example.
I'm just saying, right? Like, private property doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I would never beat my wife.
we all know that.
Thank you.
If anything, Carly's the one we got to be afraid of.
She's the aggressor. Oh.
Yeah, that's really it that I didn't get in trouble for. I had a lot of shit I got in trouble for.
There's probably plenty more that I did, and I'm just not thinking of it. Most of the time, like, I was a pretty innocent kid when I was, like, way younger, and I would have just admitted to it right away.
Yeah.
I had no, like, sense of, like, denial when I was a kid. I just was like, oh, it was me.
I've got
I was like
one
the sad
last
dog
one.
that made it clear.
I
Go ahead.
forged my parents' signatures on a lot of notes that went to my schools.
I didn't do that.
My dad and mom. My mom has a harder signature to mimic, but my dad's is very similar to mine, so it was very easy.
My if I did it, it was because my mom truly like was not available to sign it, and I would call my mom and be like, "Can I forge your signature on this thing?" And she'd go,
Yeah,
go
no.
ahead." I never
was
just did it.
I was joking with my parents that we should just get a stamp.
Yeah,
Their signature, just so I can just stamp it instead of having to forge it every time.
you'd have to get one that's really realistic.
Yeah, this was fucking delicious beer, by the way. This is a 4 or
That was
5.
good too. I was almost gonna say like 4.75, but that's absurd. This is
But I gave one of those last week.
This might be a 4.5 though. This is really good.
This tastes like orange
It's
soda,
a
but it's
4.25. That's my final ranking because fuck them for this bullshit exploding can. 4.25 is my final ranking.
I'm gonna give mine. Well, like I said, a 4 or 5. It tastes like orange soda, but it's less sweet. Like
Have
this.
you ever
would-
had those the ones that are made with like real sugar? What are those fucking sodas called?
Oh,
It's a-
like
it's a
not
brand.
your father's.
Not your father's. Fuck those.
Yeah, those are ass.
They
This
are
is
so
infinitely
sweet
better.
they made me want to throw up.
This
And I don't
was
think
like-
got rot that bad.
This is sweet. Like like you can
Gotta read
tell
this
it's supposed to be like mimicking orange soda, but like even comparing this to like the orange soda that comes in the like Bud Light sodas,
Yeah.
it's night and day. This is so good. I could drink infinite amount of these and be happy. Next up for me though is Haterade, which is a fruit punch inspired Berliner Weiss from J. Wakefield Brewing out of Miami, Florida. And
I like it when I go to
exclusively-
rate my beer on Untapped, and it's like similar to what everybody else does. I'm like, this is highly ranked beer. Look at me, I've got good taste. This is listed 3 different times because people are dumb and don't know how to list
Yeah,
a beer.
can't find it and relist it.
Some people listed it as a cider. Some people listed it as a beer. Some people said it was Bloom was the brewing company, even though it's actually Cali Craft. Dummies.
Dum dums.
All right, I'm checking this bad boy in.
All right.
4.25. Go ahead.
I
Sorry,
want to
I have to go my next beer. Shut up. Shut your mouth. All right. My next beer, I already cracked this one, so I got to be careful when I'm showing it, is the Hemley Apple Cider, Cortland, California, Pink Lady. I don't know. This label sucks, but it's a cider.
nice.
Apple cider, to be specific.
All right. To my next topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are 5
Wait, shut up. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Damn it. What are your 5 go-to stores?
Okay. For what?
Groceries, shoes,
It's going to take a while. Hold on.
clothes,
Just-
anything for fun, and alcohol.
Okay. Clothes. No, groceries.
groceries, clothes, shoes,
alcohol,
hobbies,
and
alcohol.
And you want one per?
One per.
Okay.
And I want a quick explanation of why. I'll start.
Sure.
My go-to grocery store is Meijer, which I believe is a national company. If you don't have Meijers near you, I'm sorry.
That's regional for sure.
Never heard of it. It's in the Midwest. Most of the Midwesters, at least, will know what it is. But they have very good prices. They have a great selection. But also, they just are. The store is laid out well. It makes sense. They rotate their products like a lot of like fancier stores, like a Sam's Club and Costco and everything. They rotate their products, so they have new stuff constantly coming in. But they're also just really nice people there. I've never had a bad experience at a Meijer, so they are my go-to for grocery.
Okay.
And they have everything. I should state that too. Like, there's nothing you can't get there.
If I was a bigger family or something like that, I would have to say like Costco would be my grocery one. But because I don't have a larger family, that's not my favorite or my go-to. Yeah. But I do really enjoy me a good Costco trip, which is Carly's going to probably try to say bullshit on that because I probably protest every time that we're going to go shopping because I hate shopping. But I do enjoy the experience when I get to Costco. Looking around there is fun. So
I actually think I prefer Sam's Club to Costco. I just
haven't
recently
been to
got a Sam's Club membership.
Since I was a kid.
I
Like,
just
it's been
recently
years.
I was on Groupon randomly, or no, I have T-Mobile, so it was T-Mobile Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, T-Mobile gives you like special coupons and stuff like that. So it was like a discounted Sam's Club membership. So it was $10 for the membership, and they gave you a $10 gift card. So
dude, there was
basically free.
At some point recently, like maybe one of the holidays, Sam's Club was doing like $5 memberships or something. Like they've been running a shitload of deals because I think they're probably losing membership.
They were on Groupon for a while too.
I do miss Fry's. Fry's was
good.
We really liked Fry's.
That's where we mostly went when we visited you guys in Arizona, right?
Yep. Fry's is good. That being said, if I could say my absolute go-to of all time, it'd be Fairway because Fairway is the best, except for the fact that they're a little bit too pricey. But Fairway's the OG. I worked there. Carly worked there. Fairway's great. But because I'm not around a Fairway anymore, I'll rearrange and say that my go-to right now is Safeway. But Carly and I have both agreed that it's too expensive. We need to try to figure something else out. So like, I don't like shopping at Walmart. I really don't. But their groceries are so much cheaper than Safeway.
They are.
So much cheaper.
If Meijer's prices weren't so similar to Walmart's, I would probably go to Walmart.
Like Walmart. Plus, through my credit card, I get a free Walmart Plus membership, so I can get free grocery delivery.
That's pretty sick.
From Walmart. So, yeah, probably going to just do Walmart as my go-to. She's right. Aldi
is very solid.
Fairway, Fry's.
Aldi is all-time GOAT. Not really.
Aldi's kind of.
I'm not biased.
Aldi got me through college. It really did.
I'm definitely not biased at all.
It was good. It's good shit. Aldi's good stuff.
We like
Aldi. Quarter in the cart.
Hell yeah. But you can also use a house key.
When I was a kid. I saw something about that on the internet recently.
And just take a house key and just... Yeah. So next up, what did I say next? Clothes. Go-to for me for clothes recently has been Amazon, but an actual in-person store, it's probably Old Navy. I probably have more Old Navy than I have anything else. With Target, very, very close.
If I never had to buy another piece of clothing in my life, I would never do it. I fucking hate clothes shopping. If
I could have 10 Carhartt shirts and just a bunch of random pairs of shorts and jeans and pants to go with them, I'd be completely happy in my life.
I wear black shorts and a white t-shirt more than anything else in my entire wardrobe. Uncle Kyle, Hy-Vee's pretty good. I won't deny that. And they've gotten even better the more that they've expanded.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would probably say Target is where I buy things mostly now. Because I just get a lot of like plain Target tees and shit. Yeah, that's probably my go-to. I would say some other stuff, but like really, like I just don't shop for clothes, and the most I've probably... Yeah. Okay, that's true. I don't want to call that my go-to though, because like I don't probably need to go buy anything from there for like another 5 years.
You buy you buy the Lululemon shorts and then you wear them.
And I also have a pair of pants now. Let me tell you.
Oh my God.
Brother. They're good.
Kyle, that dump trunk you got over there is going to rip a hole in those shorts one of these days.
Dude, I was at Topgolf with somebody the other day. I don't even know if I told Carly about this, so sorry that I didn't relay this. But some dude took a fucking swing and ripped the ass crack of his jeans, and it was so fucking funny.
I love it. That's amazing.
Oh, man. I think he just tried to play it off like it didn't happen, but I like pointed it out immediately. I was like, oh my God, he ripped his fucking pants.
Oh, that's funny.
But anyway, yeah, I do like Lululemon. And I hate that I like that. I really hate. I don't even want to admit it. I really don't, because it's so expensive and it's stupid. Nobody needs them, but they're really fucking comfortable.
They are. I can confirm.
So, yeah, Carly, you win. You win again. Stop calling me out.
Next up for shoes for me is actually Target. I probably wear Target. I have these. They're like white, basically like the white low top Vans.
Yeah.
Without like the squiggly thing, like the more canvasy ones. I have 3 pairs of them that are from Target, and I probably wear those every single day. I just until it's been like 2 years now, and they have not completely fallen apart yet. So they're even pretty solid quality for $20 shoes. So
I haven't gone on and bought new shoes recently. Carly's pretty much bought. That's true. Carly said she's going to continue to call me out for my love of Lulu because of how much shit I gave her for buying a $135 pair of leggings or whatever the fuck. Because
that's not bad.
It grossed me the fuck out at the time, and it still kind of does. It grosses me out that I spend as much as I do on their clothes, because when I think about it, I'm like, it's literally like the most bullshit, just stretchy, like tiny piece of fucking cloth, and it's
but it's not. It's not.
It's nonsense.
It's not. You know how much R&D goes into that one pair of leggings?
You're probably right, but all the girls will tell you that they don't do repairs anymore, like unlimited repairs. So fuck them. Fuck you, Lulu.
Fuck Lululemon, unless you want to sponsor us. I'll drop my affinity to Fabletics for a Lulu sponsorship. I'm just saying.
Yeah. If you sponsor me, I'll brag you up all day long. Okay. Anyway, for shoes, for me, it's 100% Vans. I haven't bought new shoes for a while. The last couple pairs that I got were from Carly, I think. But if I go and buy shoes, it's from Vans.
I like Vans. Hence why I wear Vans Mimics that just happen to be a lot cheaper.
I've always liked Vans.
Next up for hobbies for me, where I probably have spent the most money, is Best Buy, because I'm a nerd.
Okay.
But I also would say Amazon is actually the number one.
Yeah.
But I want to try and stick to stores as opposed to websites as much as possible. So for me, it's Best Buy.
Okay. I'm blanking like super hard on what I want to say right now. I got to find it. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I would say from a hobby perspective, the number one, if I could go there like all the time, would be Micro Center, actually. I love Micro Center, and like PC building and everything is like a huge hobby of mine, right? So like that would be my like desirable go-to. But because I can't have that, mine is actually probably Newegg. Because fuck Amazon. I don't want to say Amazon. You're right. I probably spend the most money on Amazon, but I prefer to go to Newegg if I can. Yeah. So if Newegg will beat out Amazon's price, I'll go to Newegg.
That reminds me, when I'm looking at laptops, I should go to Micro Center.
Yeah, you should.
There's one only about 30-ish minutes from me.
You gotta hop on that fucking Reddit page and check it out.
Last up, alcohol.
You already know mine, but go ahead. What's yours?
Mine is Flight Bottle Shop. No, Flight Bottle Shop in Yorkville, Illinois. That is my number one. But if I'm buying liquor, I go to Binny's.
To be honest, by the way, this is a rewind that just came to my mind out of nowhere. But an honorable mention for clothing is Costco.
Costco clothing slaps.
Dude, I get like the best fucking sweatpants from there. Yeah. Like jogger style sweatpants. I get all my white t-shirts from there.
Yep. Most of my socks are from Costco.
I've gotten coats from there.
Underwear.
Dude, yeah. Costco's legit. Costco clothing. Okay. Anyway, Total Wine is my number one go-to for alcohol. Do I wish that I could get a better selection, like more exciting? Yeah, I do. But I think Total Wine does the best job of having available stuff all the time. And now that I found out that you can crack open 4 and 6 packs and just grab one and put it in your fucking thing, game over, bro. I can buy anything I want in that store.
Exactly.
And their selection's huge. So Total Wine is mine.
You have to have a nice little bottle shop near you. There's no way you don't.
I looked. I did. And all of the ones that are like bottle shops that are within a a reasonable driving distance are just breweries that happen to have like canned beer too.
I'm gonna research that because I think you're wrong. But
That's okay.
if not, you want to start a business?
No.
Okay.
No.
Anyways,
I like beer, but no.
all right. Well, that was my topic. I was just thinking about how I spend too much money shopping today, and was like, I wonder where Kyle shops. So,
Sorry,
you got
I
for us?
forgot that I needed to rate
I have a second topic.
my last beer. I didn't hit the submit button. Okay, that's rated, and I do have a second topic, but now we don't have a ton of time, so let me try to find. This will be pretty quick. What book or movie made the biggest impact on you when you were a child?
That's hard.
Is it? It's easy
think
for me.
Oh, no shit.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Was probably the most influential in my childhood. I loved Harry Potter. I lived, breathed, died Harry Potter. I read every book.
Yeah.
My grandma started buying them for me on release day, which was the coolest fucking thing. I need to write her a card and just be like, thanks for buying me Harry Potter books. It was the coolest shit you ever did for me. Probably not, but she would like on release day, no kidding, go grab that book for me and bring it to the house. And then my brother and I would have to share the book. And so we'd compete to like stay up the latest to read ahead of each other. So like we'd take turns, right? Like my brother would read like 100 pages and I'd read 100 pages or whatever. Like you'd go back and forth, and then he'd fall asleep and I'd fucking read as much as I could of that book. So he'd wake up and I'd be like, I'm fucking 300 pages ahead of you, motherfucker. And so like we'd go back and forth on that shit, and I loved it, dude. I loved Harry Potter. I almost like punched one of my brother's friends in the face because when I went and saw the Half-Blood Prince in theaters, he like wanted to make fun of the movie and make fun of me for liking Harry Potter the whole time. So he literally talked through the whole fucking movie. And at the end, I was like, dude, fuck you. I'm going to come back to the theater and watch this again by myself. And I did. So fuck that guy. But I loved Harry Potter, dude. Everything.
Yeah. Harry Potter was great. My parents would always buy the books, and then we would get to read them after they finished them. So that's... yeah. They would hog them. We didn't have a chance. I'm trying to think. Lord of the Rings is up there. Very much so.
I didn't read the books. I wish I would have, and I still have them, and I need to read them.
They're very good.
Not. I
read
watched
the books and watched the movies. Watched the movies first, which made me appreciate the books more.
Yeah.
I think. But
that might have been like the second most influential for me though, because I remember from my birthday one year, my brother bought me the Return of the King, the extended edition, and it was like a 4 DVD set or something like that, something ridiculous, maybe 3.
yeah.
And I loved that shit. I thought it was like the coolest thing my brother ever gave me, because maybe before that he never gave me anything. I don't know, but he decided that year he was going to give me a Lord of the Rings movie set, and I watched that shit religiously, dude. I watched that shit all the time. So probably the second most influential is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. If I think of a book that was really influential, it's harder. I didn't read much, but The 7 People You Meet in Heaven was good, or 5 People You Meet in Heaven, by Mitch Albom. That's a good book.
I never read that, but in college I was forced to read Tuesdays with Morrie. Same
also
guy.
Good book. Yep.
And I was like, I don't want to read this shit. And then I read it, and I was like, this was really fucking good. It was
Yeah.
a really good book.
Yeah, I'm not the most religious person in the world. I don't think that's hidden out there, but The 5 People You Meet in Heaven is a very good book. Tuesdays with Morrie is also a very good book.
It was good.
I think that's mostly like I liked Great Gatsby. I liked
Honorable mention to Star Wars is always for me.
Yeah.
I
would say Star Wars might be my one. I think I was more into Star Wars as a kid than I was. I think I got into like appreciated Lord of the Rings more as I got older.
Same.
I think Star Wars as a kid was probably like my favorite. Like I had lightsabers. We would fucking dress up as the fucking Star Wars people for Halloween and shit.
My brothers and I, my mom got us the 3 DVD set after they did the remaster post like I think in the 1990s they did the remaster, right, of the 1970s.
I don't know, because I had the VHS tapes.
They were VHS,
and
that's what I'm talking about.
And then got the DVDs later.
But they made the original VHSs in like 1970.
Yeah,
and
we had the originals,
and then they remastered them in the 90s.
I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna search this.
You can look it up. Either way, my parents bought the 3 VHS set in the 90s, And because there was 3 of us, we each got one of them. So my brother got the first, my other brother got the second, and I was the youngest brother, so I got Return of the Jedi.
1997, it looks like.
Was the real remaster. That makes sense, because I would have been, 4 years old? So, yeah, my parents gave us each one of them, and we watched them all the time.
I guess it depends on... So in 93, they were...
that was an unmuted burp, by the way. Intentional. I'm sorry.
In 93, they were released on Laserdisc as the definitive collection. In 95, they were re-released on VHS with special audio. And then there was a special edition of the trilogy that was released in 97.
I'm not sure if we had the 95 or the 97 version, but it was VHS.
Yeah,
Doesn't
95,
matter. Either way,
97.
in the 90s.
We had the originals.
I
threw
think
it
my
back.
parents may have had the originals, but we got the VHS. They were for us.
Yeah.
For us as kids. So, yeah. And I've spent, like you said, right? So, like, I don't know if I truly appreciated even the Star Wars universe when I was really young. Mm-hmm. I probably was mostly bored, to be completely honest. Like, my attention span wasn't, like, caught into that enough. When I was really young, like 5, 6, 7 years old, Harry Potter caught me. So that's probably my number 1. And then Star Wars, and then Lord of the Rings was a late development too, because I got the first movie as a gift for a birthday, and I like watched the first half of it, and I was like,
This is
fucking boring.
Yeah.
And I returned it. I like straight up returned it to the fucking store, and I was like, I don't want this shit. It's boring as fuck. And then I like maybe a couple years down the road ended up watching it. I was like, holy shit, how did I hate this so much? This is so fucking good. And then I got into the rest of the series. So yeah, it was Harry Potter was the one that connected with me most when I was younger, though.
Yeah. I would say Star Wars is probably my one, if I'm being honest. There was movies that I liked more, but I think like that was the first like universe where I was like, fuck yeah, I'm in it. Because I liked anything war related. So like Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, those were huge. Watching the Band of Brothers series.
That's what I would go to, man. It's not like Saving Private Ryan is a good movie. Black Hawk Down is a good movie. The Band of Brothers series is unbeatable.
Oh yeah.
It is so fucking good. And I remember that's another one that connects with my childhood, dude. My dad loved war shit.
Same.
And he watched that, I think, maybe all the way through, because I'd visit my dad on weekends. I spent weekends with my dad. My parents were divorced. And I remember being there for like several weekends in a row as he was like progressing his way through the Band of Brothers series while I was there. And I loved that shit. And now rewatching it as an adult, I love it even more. So yeah.
I haven't watched
really
it in a few
ones.
years. I should watch it again.
Dude, every couple of years now I rewatch the series, and it's fucking good. It never loses it. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, this topic actually made me...
Nostalgia, bro.
It's nostalgic, but it also gave me a topic for probably... No, I'm not going to use it next week because we're going to have a guest next week.
We're going to have a guest next week.
It's going to be a food-themed episode. Spoiler alert.
Food.
Since somebody...
hates our taste in food.
Talk shit about our food takes. So we're going to make fun of his.
We have terrible food takes.
We do. Our food takes are awful. All of my friends. Long story short, I'll make a short...
A couple minutes.
I'll make a short story shorter. We went out Saturday with our friends, and they were like, all right, Jake, we got to talk about your drunk Taco Bell order. We got to go through this. And they were like, they don't go to Taco Bell much, clearly, because they didn't know that Baja Blast was Mountain Dew. They thought it was like a food option.
Did you see the video that's going around that Baja Blast is just regular Mountain Dew and blue Gatorade mixed?
That's been a thing. That's been known for years.
I've never seen
Powerade.
anything about
it's not
that ever.
Gatorade, Powerade.
Yeah, you're right. Powerade, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's been a thing for... People figured that shit out
I didn't know.
10 years ago.
Well, thank you for updating me. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so they were like... And they were the first people to really talk shit about one of our food... tier list that we did when we did like the restaurant as a whole experience when we ranked Chili's number 1.
I still don't know how that happened.
They were like, fucking Chili's? They're like, what the hell? And I'm like, no, you got to listen. I was like, tell me you've ever had a bad experience at a Chili's. And they were like, you know what? You're right. Never have.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were grilling. They very much did not appreciate my drunken food orders.
I don't even remember yours.
2 steak quesadillas, no sour cream, 4-piece Cinnabon bite, Baja Blast, McDonald's 3 McDoubles plain.
I don't need to hear the
large
rest of it. I just
fry,
want to talk about.
Diet Coke light ice.
You're a plain motherfucker.
Very, very much so, and I'm cool with it. I like spicy food, and that's where I end it. I don't like creamy. I don't like vinegary. Give me some heat.
All right, Jake. Rate your final beer for us.
This is like a 2.5. It's pretty. It's a sour. If you like sour beers, you'll probably like it, but it's pretty disappointing for what it was supposed to be.
All right, the Hemley Apple Cider, which is supposed to be a Pink Lady apple, is going to get a 3.25. It's not bad. Not nearly as good as my first one, though. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us for another episode of Two Average Husbands. As always, you can find us streaming on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter live, and then you can find us after the episodes have been uploaded by Jake on any streaming platform that you use, as in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere. We're all over the place. Like us, share it, comment, come join us live in the chat. We appreciate all the interaction. It makes these episodes more fun and entertaining for us and for you. If you want anything talked about in terms of a specific topic, or if you have questions for us that you want us to talk about, just go ahead and throw them out on Twitter. That's where we're the most active. You can find us at #2 AVG Husbands on Twitter and Instagram, and Jake is there at his personal at Perry_FF, and I'm at Kyle and Herson. That's about all I got. Jake can close this out.
As always, Kyle covered most of it. He even took a lot of my lines there, which is
welcome.
Pretty fucking rude. Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you guys for sharing the podcast. If you share it with any of your friends, family, or share it on social media, keep that up. Like I said, this giveaway is still going. Get us to 100 subscribers. We'll make you a t-shirt somehow. Get it out there. Hopefully, as this podcast continues to grow, we have different things that we can offer to the fans. That Saturday episode we did was really fun, a Q&A episode. So maybe we'll run those out here every once in a while again. But thank you all for tuning in. We will see you all in the next episode. And as always, don't forget to tell somebody that you love them.
Peace.